It is YouTube Battle Royale. I have formed 9 teams to fight, and this is round 3. Because we finished the first 2 rounds. Meaning that we have 9 more potential winners. Everyone is a potential winner. Oh boy. It's so stupid. Even if I tried anything, exaggerate anything at the very intro, it feels wrong. Everything feels wrong. But the worst thing ever, I already did this video. 3 hours. I spent 3 hours putting it together. I spent 16 hours watching every person's video except Amaz, because he's in the last position right now to be reviewed. So, and he's also a Hearthstone team member. So it might take a while until I watch through his videos. But it works with everyone. The further you climb, the harder it is to watch their videos, the harder it is to find value in them as well. And eventually I give up, and that is the score. The score does not contain numbers like 0.8 or 0.9. It skips those numbers and goes to 1.0 simply because I have 8 numbers that I can snap to. This is just a small inconvenience that can be ignored. Although it is there, just so you know. So yeah, in order to get 6 points, you would actually need 12 points less than you would normally think, and but it still counts as 62. And Lindsay apparently is the best one right now. Lindsay Sterling on YouTube, violin player. Let's figure out why these people got so far as they did, and I'm gonna review Amaz fully as I go along. But the story was, first of all, I skipped Elon Musk for no reason. I didn't put him here properly, so I watched Notch content first. And this was at New Year's. This is literally 11 days later. It is insane how long this takes to actually prepare. This video just takes eternity at this point. And Notch obviously triggered me to think about Minecraft and what impact it has in my life, and how I want to combine a few games and create my own better version of something. Because Minecraft used to be a game that I actually wanted to play before I even knew it existed. I wanted to find a mining game where I can just mine and sell resources, and that's it. It technically similar to Motherlode, but I played something in space where you're allowed to move in 2D space in any direction you want, mine any resource you want. That's kind of what inspired Space Shooter a little bit. I knew that it's a pretty good way to build a game if you just explore and collect stuff and sell it. It's just a cool thing. But most importantly, this is where Spawn the Creeper's Forge kind of exaggerated or embraced that idea even further. I didn't stop thinking about the same goddamn idea because it was never really realized in any game before. Even Cookie Clicker is a joke, obviously. And my game wasn't a joke. My game kind of pushed for. I can do it 10 times better now. It's just I have so many things to do. I want to really review this thing, that I'm doing, because I'm getting good at psychology. Basically, I'm finding crazy things, and you will see what I can like tell you guys on just pure dynamics. But most importantly, what you guys have to understand, that most people don't understand that water is countered by wind. I mean, you probably won't find it on Pokemon. You won't actually experience in games, but there is a full circle or full cycle of elements that counter each other. So Earth is countered by fire, fire is countered by water. These are obvious. But then you have wind that counters water, meaning that if you just splash water from a 5th floor, everything is just gonna splash before water hits the ground. Air completely destroys water before water even has a chance to land. Meaning that if you are made out of water and you're falling, you're not gonna have a good time. So that's first thing. How it doesn't feel like a human being would be destroyed by falling, but any liquid would. Even slime would probably be destroyed just by falling. I actually should make an experiment then. Let's try and find a video where slime falls from very high. Lo and behold, YouTube actually doesn't have it. It just doesn't have it. This concept is not yet tested. It sounds profound, as I've tested in theory in many other ways. I can't recall exactly. I know water freezes, as everyone else knows, and it's almost like the most notorious freezing thing ever, because it is already a liquid. So you can freeze it into a solid, or you can turn it into a gas. And when you have gas, you immediately know that wind controls gas 100%. When you have solid, it's a little bit tougher for wind to do anything at all. So you can tell what is going on in that sense. Because the strongest form of liquid is very hot, but it's almost not gas. It's gassy, but it's not gas, I would say. So that's exactly when the wind would actually rip it apart. But the biggest ripping apart process is probably just cooling down process, because the water now has to deal with all this air. The literally little pond of water now has to deal with tons and tons of air constantly circulating around it, and it has to warm that air up, making it, well, a lot less powerful. That's another counter process. So there's tons and tons of counter processes that you can find out of those, but you can see how a process that seemingly should be obvious by now and everyone should be talking about it, or at least the game should provide some kind of context or even use elements for something at all. It's not being used. But I go a one step further. Okay, everyone knows that wind gets countered by earth. It's pretty obvious. But now that we have full circle, I'm using elements for something completely different, which is understanding personalities and seeing that it actually aligns perfectly. Not almost perfectly, it does perfectly. There are monster types that align with water goes to zombies, vampires get wind, creepers, which is a new monster type that we have discovered, or we have been able to describe it as such. I'm not even sure it might have been mummies or something. Back in the day the days before creepers, or just some forest I don't know. It's maybe slimes. Maybe slimes would work out, because in Transylvania, which is a movie about basic monster types, right? In Hotel Transylvania, you get a huge slime creature that also looks like a mummy, so it kind of works out. And that's how a creeper now is. So that evolved. At any point, any monster type could actually evolve, apparently. Especially if it's not relevant enough as well, because mummies never were relevant or have been treated as zombies. And then you have werewolves, obviously. The first funny thing that you can discover is that werewolves are fire, and then you have vampires as wind, and the whole bullshit about Twilight, it is fire and wind, neither of which counter each other, meaning they actually strengthen each other. And there's something weird that happened with Danielle Bregoli that I will showcase, and Dr. Phil, of what happened in their dynamic. They actually strengthened each other up, and both became more popular because of that. But nobody really solved each other's problem, and both of them actually have problems. Yes, Dr. Phil has a problem, believe it or not, because he couldn't solve that specific issue, and he should be able to solve every child's problem. But he only, I think, solved a water person's problem. There's so many dynamics hidden. I just want you to be aware that it's pretty intense. The reason why I choose monster types to describe personalities is because I think when you're scared, you're learning a lot faster. It's just so weird. And a lot of people want to learn about paranormal things, but there are paranormal things hidden in reality. So if you really put things together, there's so many things to do in general as you learn of how much you don't know and how much you want to put together. Like, even I want to make a new video about Selena Gomez, because she says she's rare. I want to question that. Is she rare? But then you have so many questions. I already know her personality. I'm pretty good now at determining people's personalities. Not only you have the way they react to things, the emotion they project, you also have like the general behavior, right? The general behavior patterns. And so here's another layer of my personality research. The moment people started using sociopath, psychopath, or narcissist, which is a little bit rare to be used, even though Jake Paul is a narcissist, clearly, and a lot of people right now as narcissists are actually ruling over social media, including Danielle Bregoli. But there's also another type of, dysfunction. You can call it dysfunction. It is a dysfunction, right? It's a personality dysfunction. It is very tough. I think we misunderstand what sociopathy is. We misunderstand what psychopathy is. We misunderstand everything. This is a layer that people are attempting to reach, are attempting to be fucking useful, attempting to understand what's going on, but they have no fucking idea. Okay? We attempt to say that sociopaths don't care about other people, but we put narcissist and a water type personality in this mix. right? Because narcissist seemingly doesn't care about other people, but they do care incredibly a lot, right? They just will never attempt to show anything, any emotion, anything that would compromise them, right? Because they want to be fearless, right? They don't want to compromise their fear. Fearless attitude, rather. Okay? They don't want to subject themselves to fear. They don't want to show any of that. So they're gonna try and not care, but they care a lot because they want attention, right? How else are they gonna handle things? So the personality that counters them, the water personality, will give a little bit attention, or it will feel that like they're giving attention, but they will want things from those narcissists, and they will naturally get it, because just giving attention is a very cheap thing to give. So narcissists are going to perform those ridiculous things for them, and they will manage to like bend them to their will and make them feel good about things that they actually care about. But naturally, these are sociopaths. These are the people that really don't care about anyone else. They care about themselves. They care about to make themselves feel good, right? This is the prime sociopath personality, is the water type personality. So if you're really looking for a sociopath, is the first thing you do. And it's funny because Erica Costell is much more likely a sociopath than Jake Paul is, and she is gaining a huge benefit for. Oh, she's not exactly a girlfriend anymore, but she was for a long time, and I think a lot of things just got messed up in the process. But it's so funny to see her be like, yeah, Shane Dawson, please do that secret thing about searching for a sociopath and having a psychologist with you to determine the state of Jake Paul. For me, looking at things as I'm not performing, it is a baby game. It's not necessarily high performance. It's not something I could do. I don't live in US. I can't do anything, apparently, because of that. There's something more going on, right? It feels like the whole America is just somewhat shut down on themselves. They don't actually care much because they don't expect to care about the rest of the world. It's crazy. There's a huge conspiracy just building up as we go of how Americans behave, and what's going to happen in the future is still unpredictable. It's almost like Americans don't have to care because the rest of the world has to learn their language first, right? It's the moment we learn their language is that's when they start caring, because their language is actually mostly the best, right? It's almost like English is the fastest language if you test it. I believe is the fastest, is the easiest to learn all of these things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best in terms of how it functions, right? Or is the most perfect. Absolutely not. It has ridiculous flaws, actually. Ridiculous. One example that floats in my head and just is kind of funny and ridiculous. If I do... Oh. Never mind. It's actually interesting, right? You can, in fact, put E in the middle of the word, if you really want those two words to work together. But naturally, he doesn't go into the middle of the word. And E is so important to change the way this letter sounds, right? The letter before it. And how do they even interact? How does E even interact with that letter? It makes no sense, right? Fur and fire is totally different words. Fur doesn't actually exist, but you can say firm or whatever. It's such a weird thing. Yeah, it's gonna be a long introduction until I actually start reviewing their content. So what can you expect, right? Notch gave me a little bit of a better perspective of how to, well, be successful, right? That's probably the best video that you can find, besides his interview with Todd Howard. Although that wasn't actually very good. There's so little content about Notch that it really pisses me off, because he should have made a YouTube channel or something. It's kind of annoying that we just allow people to get rich, sell a game and get rich, or not get rich at all, not get any money at all, or any support at all. I don't want to be that guy, but I feel like I'm left out of society big time, okay? And everyone else is a lot left out, because we're still kind of at war. It's just, we have ego war, we have money war, everyone is trying to scam each other, we're really desperate for money, while at the same time, we see rich people coming out of nowhere and grabbing everything on the table just because they have the best poker hand, and we always have to bet. And some big shot comes in and swipes the entire table, as if we're all playing the same fucking game. The entire population is like, okay, I'll just sweep the whole table. It's intense, okay? There's, at any point, someone can create a better game or better type of technology or anything at all that we desperately need, and they have to swipe the entire table, sometimes for good reason, sometimes for no reason at all. And we treat it as equal opportunity, right? Reason doesn't matter in the world of money, and it is incredibly scary. If money goes into wrong hands, all of a sudden that person has an ability to spend the money. That's when it turns into a negative or a positive effect based on where the person spends money. If it buys meaningless things, all of a sudden we have a higher demand of meaningless things, and it completely destroys our ability to be efficient if we constantly order meaningless things. So the stupider smart people or rich people are, the worse the economy is, obviously, right? And only when they spend money that it really hurts. It is annoying. It is really annoying. And obviously he's a billionaire now. But there obviously are other billionaires that also deserve a review. I don't want to blame Notch. Notch did a great work, I think. But he's a narcissist. So I have to double think. He probably just took an opportunity. He wasn't actually good. He just took a great opportunity, and it worked. Well, technically, I think the current billionaires, a lot of them, have to be narcissists. Okay? Because they're never going to be relevant. They're never going to be sending a message or something. That's on YouTube right now. whoever is sending actual messages gonna be on YouTube. And these billionaires are not relevant at all. And that scares me a little bit. Because they're already not buying what's actually valuable for a human being is to just express themselves. Right? Like, you gotta buy a channel. Just buy a channel. God damn it. That's the best way to promote your products. I'm just saying, okay? It is the best. If Notch had a channel, I'm pretty sure Minecraft never dipped in popularity. Okay? Minecraft would have a steady and maybe a lot larger popularity just playing the game. But now we look a little bit differently at Notch because he left Minecraft, because he sold it to Microsoft. We look a little bit differently. He explains it. Let's just dive in, right? So at first it starts as a joke, right? Anyone wants to buy Minecraft? But the joke for a narcissist, it is not a joke, right? The moment narcissist is putting their guard down and attempts to be, funny, it doesn't work out very well. And people took him seriously, obviously, and he took the best opportunity, and it all worked out, right? He's like, oh, he's double guessing, right? And expanded this little thing very quickly because what else is he gonna think about? He's a narcissist. And if you don't believe that, and obviously this is just a personality description, right? I don't have a personality description for Earth people. I could overthinker. That sounds a little bit negative, but let me think if I can generate one. No, it's actually too hard because I don't think I have a negative personality trait that really embraces what I do wrong. I am lazy, but at the same time I'm trying to be efficient, right? And then I recognize that some of the laziness is pretty destructive, and I have to fix that shit. So I fix that shit. But I never really dipped into like evil, trying to understand how. But it's still so important because right now I'm like describing what a narcissist looks like. There's going to be a lot of them on the list. Let's take Alyssa Violet. She's actually next on the list after Notch, and she has my personality. In fact, it almost feels like a very good format. Lay down the grounds and try and tell a story, right? Try and tie together all of them and try and compare what the fuck is going on. Alyssa Violet is the weakest in the group, besides Bad Baby, besides Danielle Bergoli. She is super weak. She looks cute, but she's into rapping now, which is not exactly what she wanted to do in the first place. She just kind of got bought at this point. And it is so scary that you can just not only just buy a person, but that person who gets bought is actually pretty good money and isn't a slave, okay? Can do whatever the fuck she wants right now. Can trash on me, can employ me at this point. Say, hey, here's 5,000. Work for me for 3 months or 6 months. Doesn't matter. I'll probably take it. I'll probably promote Bad Baby at this point as my Bad Baby. Oh no, I'm so easily buyable right now. I'm growing too fast anyways. That's probably the toughest thing, is that knowing the dynamics of this doesn't help but feel a threat right here. This is a timeline code, right? We're still in the first timeline that's ending. It's gonna switch to something way more precious for me, because I like number 2 here. Oh, by the way, it's not 2000, it would be 2111. There are 4 numbers in this. The rotator, just like 4 elements, obviously. And what scares me is that narcissists are controlling these 2 tiers. And if you're not out there in the world and you're constantly bumping into people and burning yourself up, you're not gonna get attention, which is very valuable currently, right? Being on social media, getting attention, building your little empire of I am happy as every single time I post, and I'm upset every single time I go into hiding, meaning that you still have a pretty good life because you're achieving your goals, right? This is scary to me. I want to skip all the way here and just sit back and relax, become a joker, basically. That's what tier 2 is about. It's being so good that you don't have to play the game anymore. You don't have to play life anymore. You just settled. Everyone is going to appreciate you. I feel like I already achieved this because I feel somewhat safe, but at the same time I realize I'm still heavily controlled by money. I can be bought. I can be just literally gripped and placed back at the very beginning if I sell myself somehow. Doesn't mean that I cannot come back up, or doesn't even mean that I can't change my personality, which I recognize as being like the most overpowered move anyone can make, because nobody can change the personality. It's just the craziest thing ever. And discovering that is already pretty intense, right? Then you start really wanting of how do I change personality? This is exactly why I'm watching every single person ever I can. I'm building my own team. I belong in YouTube Battle Royale as the toughest player, because I have to represent my team, and I put together my team out of basically 4 pop singers, basically, as they attempt to rule YouTube. We're doing pretty well. It's round 2 that we got 9.5 points, the highest score. But I will cripple my team big time later on. They will have to perform a lot better to get any score, even though I already have invested so much, and they're gonna do just fine. Or are they? Because on myself I will put incredible weight. I will have to perform 4 times as good just to get the same score. But we'll see. Because obviously I have a little bit of an unfair advantage. But besides that, this scares me, right? The fact that someone can buy me, it scares me. Let's check Alyssa Violet. See if... a violent person? Could that work? See, creepers have an ability to control anger, so bad creepers would naturally not have an ability to control anger. And what is the... Even you have a personality that's depicted in almost every anime. And goddamn it, I forgot the name of that. Let's just call Sakura from Naruto as that. Let me put that on Google. Let's see if we can get personality. Alright, I remembered. Tsundere. Basically, a person who cannot control anger, who has an earth personality, but here's one little thing. every personality has a flavor. It's almost like every personality has to have the opposite personality-ish thing. Like you have either earth or water, and then you have some kind of flavor from earth or wind. You can't have the same of that one side. I call it like nature and chaos sides, because wind and fire are like chaos elements, and wind and water and earth are like constructive and destructive. So that's great. That you have to like balance things out, and some personalities are destructive and some are constructive. I am constructive. Congratulations. Constructive criticism to every YouTuber ever. It's the new holiday season. It's the new fucking season in general. Congratulations for watching this video. So we have tsundere personalities in anime. Just something that lights up and just splashes anger on everyone else. And that is Earth personality. Okay, that's at least one aspect of Earth personality, by the way. The other aspect would be just to be a cool person and keep it to yourself until you can really unleash your anger. You don't just blow up randomly. You blow up somewhat like Sasuke does. It's almost like he doesn't really blow up, but he makes very, very bad decisions, okay? That's Earth personality right there. It's just like, okay, I'm not gonna blow up, but I'm gonna do something very fucking stupid. Oh my god, Sasuke, stop! Stop doing this. Naruto is a chaos personality. It's based on wind, but he's also quite a narcissist, so it's very hard to actually tell where he stands, even to this point. I find it very difficult. Imagine that, main character, and I have no idea. I think he's fire though, because he looks very sad as he grows up. I mean, holy shit. It's just he feels a lot like wind simply because he is controlling wind element, and he has a lot of friends. So technically, he's almost like a double Joker, which scares me the hell out of him. What is this? I say double Joker, I call anyone or anything that has fire and wind combined as a double Joker. It's like, that is some crazy power right there. And it's scary because I cannot do anything about it. Nobody can. If an earth person comes in, then you get burned. If a water person comes in, then you get splashed all over. Like, there's no way out of this. You gotta unite the other forces, what you call wild forces. Double wild. Talking about Sasuke, Alyssa Wilder is probably the best example of making bad decisions. I'm just saying. She made horrible decisions, and everyone is like, well, who is she in the first place? Because she's getting burned by Logan and Jake Paul for making bad decisions. Okay, she's getting destroyed, so nobody cares. And Alyssa Wilder doesn't actually try and establish on YouTube at all. Just like the rest of this stupid people, I guess. We're just okay being tier 3 at most. I literally have to put a clock in here just to highlight. Oh hey guys, it's tier 3 right here. Continue burning in hell, Alyssa. It's so sad, but keep doing what you're doing. Now, this is why she's underperforming, is because she's not trying. Okay, and she made bad decisions, but she could turn things around but it is the worst, right? It is the worst. Being a creeper around narcissist, it is pretty bad. It can be like a cool challenge that you can take care of, But this is why Jake Paul never really intended to be in a dating mode with Alyssa, because it is scary to be popular and take someone much weaker and vulnerable on your side. He could have taken care of like Alyssa Castell, right? Because she's weaker, but he's more popular. He's on a higher tier. He can take a counter personality, no problem. That's kind of how you do things. But doing the other way, it's smart. Jake Paul actually made good decisions, which I applaud. And I just don't know what to do with Alyssa Violet in this case. She seems tough because she survived everything, but she's not doing anything else, right? I can try and look through her moments and try and find something, but I'm realizing what I'm watching, right? I'm watching another Sasuke compilation. See, these personalities brew anger within themselves, and at some point they make such a stupid decision. At some point they have to go out there into the wild and do something stupid eventually. So it really hurts when the creeper goes rogue, I think. That's the best I can describe. It's rogue personalities. It's very hostile personalities, but it doesn't have a name. Okay. Like, this is what I get on the search, but there's no fourth one. How the fuck do I call these people who make wrong decisions, either often or rarely, by not expressively or non-expressively, like passively, right? Saddest doesn't work. What the fuck is this word, right? I can't find it. It's not here. I literally have to spend a little bit of time to just put that word out there. I think you could do something very weird and say they're haters. This person is a hater. I hate myself because I'm not out there and doing things. I'm a hater, right? And technically it sticks. It's hatist. Hatist works. Why not? Right? I can't really say hate path. I think sociopath and psychopath has an unnecessary thing on there, or everyone has to be re-referenced. So even that's a fucking problem. Why so many problems, psychology? Because psychology is now based on science, everyone. Does psychology relate to science? Well, fuck science, dude. 'Cause I don't think math is related to science, PewDiePie. I think just like sucking some balls. Alright, going one step backwards, and we're gonna do that one more time with Elon Musk. Let's talk about those 10 things to succeed. There are actually 9, and the 10th one is like believe. #believe. Whatever that's supposed to mean. So this is very difficult stuff that we're gonna go through. And I want to go through difficult stuff first, and then just kind of relax on the content that I might not have reviewed yet. I think I first want to finish just commentating about Alyssa Violet, if I haven't already. So Shane Dawson comes in, right? He kind of recognizes that Alyssa Violet is at least a very expensive person now. Right? She's living in a mansion way bigger than you would expect, and he's treating her pretty fairly, I would say, even though she's not in the end of the video or in the end of the series as supposed to be. It's not chronological, basically. But it's very nice that she was able to perform in his documentary in the first place, and he gave a really fair advantage for her, even though Shane Dawson is also a narcissist, everyone. But he's managing himself quite well. Let's put it that way. It's very nice when a person that counters your personality understands that he has to be shut down and very careful. So Alyssa Violet was able to somewhat express herself properly, but it's more like exposing Jake Paul to some degree, exposing her bad behavior to some degree, understanding that she's expensive but doesn't actually promise anything for the future, right? She's not the target either. She doesn't actually fully expose Jake Paul, I don't think, because it's her fault as well of what's going on. She couldn't solve the problem, but it's also unsolvable for her type of personality. Everything is just jungled up. I couldn't find any light on her. She has cool Instagram profile, I'll give her that, okay? Compared to other people, her Instagram is pretty nice. But she's a fucking model. Of course it's supposed to be nice. Well, not all models actually appeal to me. She's young enough to be cute, and because she's a model, well, it works out in the end. But there's a lot of modeling parts that even she does and everyone does. When you don't look cute, you just look kind of stripped out of clothes in a bikini, almost forcefully. It doesn't look good, and the more makeup you put, it destroys your beauty incrementally as well. Especially when Alyssa Violet doesn't actually have emotions. And you can meme about that, but that's what anger looks like, okay? It puts your emotions only on those specific moments. You literally scroll through every emotion ever only on the moments you care about. That's what anger does, right? And normally, in normal conditions, you're just very calm. So it's not exactly an anger emotion. You just, you have nothing to be angry about. You don't have anything to be emotional about, so you just tune out all the emotions. That's the funny thing. You can find that in Twilight as well, right? The Twilight princess doesn't have emotions. Wow, what a meme. But that's just how this personality works. I know better than anyone else. There's gonna be two people that I want to finish reviewing content about. Ninja underperformed dramatically. Okay, Ninja is not a person that I want to watch. It's almost like a Baby Shark thing. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, you need to attach to something that will showcase how Fortnite works. So you're gonna watch Ninja, and you might get attached a little bit too deep, because there's a lot of content in there, a lot of ways you can watch this content, and the game is popular and exciting and good in every way. It's like the coolest arcade game ever, taking the most iconic Hunger Games formula, right? That now is known as Battle Royale. As this thing right here. No, not even close. Well, I am making people compete, and I cannot just take 100 people and make them compete. There's absolutely no way. So I put them into teams and still call it Battle Royale, because something is gonna pop up at the top and is gonna rule over YouTube for a year. That's a pretty big thing to do. So I'm trying to finish this whole event this month. But if it takes 11 days to actually finish a video, I'm scared, okay? I'm scared because this is growing exponentially. People have more and more content as you go up in ranking. Like, how the fuck am I gonna collect all the PewDiePie stuff? I mean, it's insane. It's not easy at all because PewDiePie always changes his content, so almost every year it's a different thing that I have to rewatch and pick out the most important videos. And I feel horrible, which also adds to how long it takes to make a video. I just feel horrible. I can't settle down properly. I don't have a good bed. I don't have good food. I don't have anything good besides the fact that I can survive in the first place and make these videos in the first place. That's the only thing that I have. But it's better than nothing. If you think about it, if you know Naruto's storyline and how Sasuke went mental, if there was YouTube and you could upload videos, you could just be slightly productive instead of anti-productive, okay? Instead of just becoming a super villain that someone has to take care of, right? Just because there's nothing better to do in the ninja world. You need drama somehow, and you can thank YouTube for halting any form of wars or anything. And if we can't allow ourselves to be creative and put things out there, for me, I mean, nobody watches my videos, but hey, I get to do this stuff, and I'm satisfied. Okay, I get to feel smart because I watch all of other people's videos, and I think ahead. That's good enough for me. And most importantly, I mean, I'm fucking poor, so I'm gonna put a lot more effort into this, even when it doesn't look like I'm putting effort. Even when it doesn't look like I'm editing, because I don't care about that. It just doesn't look watchable, let's put it that way. But I'm pretty sure it is, or at some point it will be. But the moment people will realize that it's watchable, I'll be angry. I'll start making bad decisions just for the sake of being that supervillain again. It is not a story that changes that easily either. I literally feel that I'll have to do it. I'll do it in a smart way, right, a controlled fashion, but it's still gonna be bad, okay? Mainly because I literally feel dead inside after I just got an opportunity to earn money, which is a weird opportunity. It saves my life, and because it saves my life, I feel dead inside because I don't like luck. Okay, luck is the worst thing ever. I should be able to lose my job at any point, right? But I'm pretty skillful. There's no luck in there. I'm hanging in there quite well. But the whole fact that I got lucky to get that job is not good. It just kills me inside really quickly. Meaning that if I do get popular, all of a sudden I will have a lot of anger to project into population. I'm not satisfied with how my life went. I'm traumatized. I'll be very angry when I get popular. So Notch, how do you get popularity? How do you get success? First step, start small. Everyone starts small, obviously, but here's the way you can imagine all these steps together. Imagine yourself searching for a place to settle down. That's the first thing. You're searching through tons and tons of ideas. You're also questioning whether you have to live or not. It is technically how it works, right? So you're looking for a good idea to settle down upon. So at first, Minecraft is just an idea, right? Minecraft is just Notch playing with different engines and settling down on this cube voxel thing. That has been pretty fun, and I have to admit, it is. And then you gradually grow because, well, you settle down on the idea. Now you're starting to calculate the passion for that idea of how many things you want to achieve, right? After you calculate the passion, you start to build a wall around that perimeter of passion. And then you do the work, right? You try and make it work. Try and make passion work. You have to first test it, right? As you're building a wall, you're also testing that limit as well. The wall also has to be functional, right? And you are taking territory, so you're gonna upset a lot of other people, right? You're taking attention to territory. You're showing your intention, basically. All of these things. Some people might want to help you. You have to manage all those different things and figure out how your passion is gonna work. So, and it is unstable thing because it never really manifested yet. So you always have to be, I think what this means, to be critical of what you're doing, is that at any point your idea could collapse. So if you have some kind of cool idea that you can settle upon, you can see from your range, or you're being drawn to something, or you're given a message of something, you have to always be aware that you might venture out of your zone and check that idea out. You have to be able to do that, and you have to also be able to protect your idea while you're doing it. So all of these things, you have to be aware of other ideas, right? And that your idea might not succeed in the first place, or at some point you realize, oh, it's just a bad idea, right? So you have to go somewhere else. You have to be prepared for that as well. This is a little bit tricky one. Don't just plan to do. I think it's put together poorly. If you really listen to Notch, he says something different that's important.
But if you are going to listen to advice, then
He's talking about advice. Don't listen to advice.
making sure you actually do something is a good advice. If you just sit around planning something and not doing it, you're not actually...
So it's like, only listen to advice that makes you do things, which is... that's why it's so tough to crack this, because it doesn't actually mean much. I think it's more like a narcissistic point of view of how this principle works, and it's almost like at first he's doing great, but then he just completely destroys the rest of what's going on. So let's try and figure out what's going on. Well, you have collected all of this passion, right? You have built a wall around it. You have this intention. You have planned very well, but it's the moment of doing, right? You have to do anything at all. Doing anything at all is the best advice ever, right? Just consuming passion and working within your perimeters, doing anything at all. Now, your passion is supposed to actually wind you up to do anything, and you shouldn't care about what you're doing at this point. You just have to like it, and you just have to follow your passion until it runs out. And that's it. That is literally it. This is so amazing because here you go, you have a perfect video to actually describe how to do work, and as I'm putting this together, it is pretty new content, or new ideas basically. So yeah, as you consume, you're gonna run out of passion, and you're gonna be like disappointed in your project. This is a critical point when you have to step back most of the time and be like, okay, I'll just have to leave it like that. Unless new people come in and they also project a lot of passion, and then you can follow those people, right? Stay happy is one of those, like, keep checking on your passion meter, okay? And maybe you can revisit your own project and be like, oh, I have new things. So you have to not only keep on the passion meter, but test if you can actually generate passion. Creating a passion generator is obviously your number one priority. But doing anything at all and spending all your passion really quickly is the first thing you do, right? It has to be the first thing you do because everything has to be very, very physical. Don't do planning. You have to do things, right? You are on a very, very tight deadline because passion is constantly depleting as well. That is super important to do things very quickly when you set up the perimeter of what you want to do. And it's actually a very, very physical perimeter. You're very prepared already. Because the moment you start doing, well, you know, you're doing something. You have prepared yourself to do something. Even going to school can be a just as difficult process as I'm describing right now. So stay happy is establishing that passion generator. Can you stay happy? Can you actually do it and create that generator? Of like, okay, I'm gonna search an internet of things and be able to adapt those internet things into my work, right? I'm gonna be able to scout the world and actually adapt all of these things. Learning how to generate passion and building a passion generator next to the thing that you established is gonna be the next level of settlement. It's almost like a super secure settlement now. Now you don't have to worry about anything. You have already escaped this point of being critical. So do it as your job and as your hobby. What does that mean? Well, you have to still understand. You will start to understand that it's turning into a job. It's turning it into a routine. You have to be very precise in how you manage things now, because passion generator has to be turned on and off. Then you have to use passion very quickly. Everything turns into a routine, so you have to establish that into a job. But you also have to understand that the whole thing can be left alone, and you don't have to process everything, and it might not work anymore, and you might not be progressing anymore. You have to treat it as a hobby as well, as still a temporal thing that other people are not supporting you yet, right? Still, most of the time, other people don't give a fuck because it's not an established thing, and the best you can do is employ. So if you're not getting money, you still don't have a money generator. See? That's the problem. That's why you have to treat it as a hobby still, because most of the time, you're still not getting paid. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's literally why he makes the distinction. It's amazing. Let others in. Obviously, you have to be able to not be protective of your work, to be able to actually share it and leak it a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. It has to be challenging entry. You can only let friends in first because you still have a huge amount of care that you can dedicate to people, right? You dedicated yourself to this work and the work is going very well, but you also have to allow other people to educate themselves of how this is done, because there's a lot of adventurers that see, oh, there's something established, someone is doing great, and they have to get educated about how it works. Don't pressure yourself. I'm not exactly sure. I might want to revisit this point actually. I think this is where he talked about selling the game or something. This point comes in relation to Notch not being able to bring as big of an impact as Minecraft. Well, obviously, right? Obviously, there's a lot of luck involved in this, and Notch only brought a technology, technically. A technology that people very much needed, but it also needed to be introduced in that specific way of like a game that has this technology, where you can actually edit anything you want. The game is entirely your canvas. It's entirely free, it's entirely open world, and most importantly, Minecraft is under development game. There are new updates coming up every so often, so people can keep an eye on it and be very excited of being just a fan of the project. And obviously people thought Minecraft was dying, so they try and run away the moment Notch left. So that's another thing. I think Notch made a huge mistake of leaving his project. He could have settled down very, very close by and just do his own thing, right? But it didn't work out. I can probably figure out why, but it's not the point right now. The point is figuring out how this whole structure evolves, right? The moment you let other people in, it's almost inevitably that you're going to figure out how to generate money. Almost inevitably. Because every single time someone gets rejected, sometimes they're going to come back with a bag of money and be like, please let me in. And then you're like, yeah, sure. You just brought a bunch of money. Let's take it. That's usually the money generator. It's the most efficient way to reject people, recognizing that some may never come back and you did a bad job, but some may actually come back with more money, right? And really recognize that they have been successfully rejected and they really need to come in because a lot of their friends came in or something. And the only way they can do that is just by paying a lot of money. This would be a super efficient way to focus on how to generate money. So what is next, right? What is next? Because I think the pressure comes when people pay for something and they get something completely different. I think the pressure is for keeping money. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to keep money. And I think that's why Notch bailed. I think it actually comes together very nicely. How do I come up with the same fucking thing, right? You can't. But it's not the money that Notch was taken away from people necessarily, because Minecraft is fairly cheap compared to anything else. There's something else that he was taken away from other people, but it doesn't work very well. It's so fucking weird. It's just weird. It's almost like Minecraft should have been free in the first place. But there's too much going on in here. The biggest pressure, I think, is the opposite. It's not that Notch stole a bunch of money. It's more like Notch let a lot of random people in, and he's pressured from a lot of different perspectives, right? There's so many pressures that he had to escape and sell this whole thing that Microsoft can get pressure because they're not person-based, right? There's no specific person that can actually be pressured in Microsoft's case. There's just a huge development team, and the whole corporation is faceless. So don't pressure yourself and sell Minecraft. That's kind of the idea, basically, that has happened. And you do have to recognize that that's an opportunity as well, of just escape this whole thing is entirely, and think of it as a life generator now. You can God damn it, stupid word, actually escape this whole thing, treat it as a life generator, and not care about it at all anymore. Just like Notch did. It's a way of doing things. There's nothing to it. Worked out in the end. It was successful, and you can learn from that. What is the last point, though? Community is essential. Obviously, Life Generator does not work without community. So you still have to keep an eye on it. And Notch being on Twitter, active on Twitter, I think that works out just fine, okay? Notch being able to talk with the community just a little bit, it works out just fine. I haven't actually checked his Twitter. I'm curious but I'm not gonna do it. I want to give him points, but I'm not gonna do it. I already gave way too many points, and I'm gonna actually add one more, simply because I enjoyed this whole thing that I did one more time. So whatever, I'll give you one more point. Let's move on to Elon Musk. There's a whole another topic to discuss. Artificial intelligence, technology moving forward. What is that shit? Also, to recap, what am I gonna do about this? Because now I have a very specific plan of how you become successful, right? To me, I already can rest for like a month and just observe how this plan works. Like, this is amazing. Just getting used to the greatest ideas ever, that will help me settle down and create even more passion when I start off. And I am very, very slowly settling down and very slowly like releasing tons of passion and trying to contain all of it. I'm not exactly sure how I'll do this, because building a wall actually requires a lot of resources. I'm really kind of lost at this point. It's almost like I'm spreading passion and people can just steal it. And I'm almost giving up, or like super dying. And this guy stinks. Yeah, that is what's happening right now. It's almost like I'm trying a completely different strategy. I stink so much, might as well stink as hard as I possibly can at this point. Just stink all over the internet. Mostly YouTube, right? YouTube stink, man. Trying to stink my passion so much that people start confusing themselves whether it's their passion or my passion. Now they have to really police my smell of passion. Oh boy. Is that your idea though? Or is it me? Did I fart it in your face? No, that would be fucking fantastic. It's like a new level of like cheat code enabled. I'm not... Because there's more to this system, am I right? Like, passion is now becoming like this gas that you can actually release and use it as a resource, but a resource that depletes and spreads around everywhere. So it's technically supposed to be gas. You see it everywhere. You can grab it and use it as a resource. You can breathe it as air and it gives you energy, but it spreads eventually. So you can energize other people, and other people can steal your shit. How am I gonna manage this? This is an amazing dynamic. Yeah, reality is a lot weirder than you think it is. A lot weirder, okay? Pretty honorable man, Elon Musk. I'm not gonna lie, he's discovering a lot of technology. I'm not sure about space though, because I don't believe in space. I look and the earth is flat still to this day, and it's a huge conspiracy that I just sit on and wait for shit to happen. Because we still have too many problems on Earth. Why the fuck space should exist in the first place, even if it is existing? And we should have been using a lot more space stuff instead of ground stuff by now, because it seems pretty useful. I'm not gonna lie. Being able to rotate a lot faster on Earth, just something is useful about that. There's no doubt. Fighting against the current, fighting against the trends and producing these electric vehicles, that is nice. That is just nice to see technology to do, but imagine things stack up really quickly. Even the smart guy here will be a threat to any new technologies that's gonna come up. This is why the technological age is going to end soon. The reason why technological age is irrelevant right now in the first place is because we have governments. Governments that fight with conspiracies instead of actual wars. We had wars, World War I, World War II, who cares? Those wars happened because we're testing technology. In fact, we're finding ourselves in a threat of war very close because it feels like we're gonna be testing technology one more time. We're already at 3. We also have 3 here. We're also at the edge of this 3, so we could have a 3 in the back as well. What if we hit 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and we're like getting the message of test this technology, what is happening? And perhaps the last time we test this technology and we create World War IV, we're going to be at 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Meaning that it's going to be super wind technology, but it's the technology that creates technology that creates technology that creates technology. That's how it's going to be translated as, right? But knowing that this is government, and it's going to create more governments, technological governments, governments like YouTube, but governments that actually govern themselves, meaning that they allow smaller governments to exist, and so on and so forth. It's going to be an infinite process. But for that to happen, there's going to be a long process. So I'm just scared. And everyone is scared. Everyone is on edge right now, looking at the decade. Because people's perspective had changed dramatically after we finished something. And now we have to start something new. And we have a feeling there's going to be a World War III. We just don't understand at all. What is this concept? How is this going to be fighting? What are the new technologies that are going to be tested in a war format? Because they have to be. They have to be tested in a war format right now. I'm pretty scared because I'm very vulnerable. I'm almost like the first one to die. If anyone is a target, I'm the target. Elon Musk is a target. Anyone with a number 2 personality is supposed to be a target at this point. But not necessarily. Here's why, right? If you understand how fire works, you understand that burning things around you and setting up a perimeter will allow you to survive because everything else burns. So basically, not only we see World War III as a preparation and as a thing of this decade that's gonna happen this decade. We're preparing for that shit. Believe it or not, just spreading around a meme, it is a preparation tactic at this point. The fires of Australia happened almost as a second tier preparation. We're not only preparing for a World War III to show up, but we also know how to prepare. Create the biggest fire ever. That's what happened. And that's exactly the element that will start World War III. The element of fire. In fact, we have been dealing with elements of creation this whole time. World War III is going to contain an element of chaos and destruction. That's insane. All of these signs scream it's gonna be insane. Okay? The technology I'm doing is already pretty advanced. Because I'm covering these topics as if like I know what I'm talking about. I know that it's gonna happen and I know that we have to prepare. However, I have no idea what's actually gonna happen. And I have absolutely no power to even participate in this war without immediately losing. What I have to do is hide. What I have to do is become Joker as fast as possible. Right? Because this is my safe spot. Government can still protect me. War will destroy me. It's just how it works. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing, and I will have to cover this in a completely next video. I'll literally expand every single topic that I cover right now. I'll expand it into their own separate videos if I see fit, right? It's very important. Mostly because there's a lot more to it, right? There's a lot more that has to be covered. Like, what is a fire element? How would the World War III work? If this is a fire element, I have to prove that World War I was water and World War II was earth. And then we're gonna move to World War IV, which actually is way more predictable because I already predicted, right, how it's gonna work. But this 3 is scary. It's an element that counters me, and it always scares me because I have no idea what to expect. We have social media as the newest technology. We have internet as the newest technology. Losing internet would be devastating, first of all. So, there's a lot of new things that we rely on that's gonna make the world a lot more chaotic. I'm scared. A lot of people should be scared, but I'm not scared to put out a lot of information out there for anyone to use it as a bomb and use it even against me. I don't care. Okay? If I can be helpful, I don't care. As long as I'm a joker, obviously. If I'm not a joker, I am under attack. One thing I'm gonna reveal right now. I have been under attack. My mind has been read. Someone has been reading my mind and projecting it to the town that I lived in. In UK, someone has been using mind reading technology against me. And I was barely able to live or comprehend what was going on, because it's literally like living a conspiracy. It's living where everyone else knows what's going on and I don't know what's going on. I don't think the rest of the world knows what's going on. Where does this technology come from? How can someone read someone else's mind? That's insane to me. What is reality anymore? I started questioning so many things, and the reason I think why my mind was being read is like I constantly stepped higher and higher on the danger scale, almost on importance scale. Because at first I was like dealing with some dudes right over the internet, and but my anger grew, and it felt like I have been watched the whole time, and I've been able to even grab even more and more attention. It's almost like an explosion wave. But the moment my mind was being read and projected back to me, as if it was projected to the entire town and I was hearing myself, that was the most uncomfortable thing ever. And obviously it's gonna destroy my mind thinking process. I'm gonna test a few things, but then I'm gonna be like, wait, I'm being observed without even knowing anyone? What is happening? I can't control that, and I collapsed, obviously. It has changed everything at this point. First of all, I was happy to leave UK, obviously, but mostly because I was basically losing my last job and I couldn't find a job anymore. UK is still pretty good, even though you have to cover rent, you have to cover some stupid expenses that make no sense. UK is still pretty good compared to what I'm doing right now. I'm still at the same level, actually, and being at home is okay, but my mom is just as much of a curse as she is as a blessing, so I literally gain no benefit at this point. The only benefit is like nothing. No benefit, okay? If I compare it's totally flat for me, the experience. I'm even glad to be alive at this point. And just because I speak the language, I am pretty much hostile to the culture that's around me, because I want to speak English more than anything else. But yeah, getting praise for speaking English in UK, or like, oh, you speak well English. No, shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up. I had to go through this whole process and understand that English is very fast, very fucking powerful language, and it dominates right now for a good reason. And people will have to realize that at some point. In fact, Americans are almost like well prepared for this. They make memes because they're laughing at how easy this war is gonna be. They're dealing with the fire element after all, while they're being waterproof, right? They're proofed with water. Americans are mainly water personalities, social, and well, socially very restrictive. Well, the world is restrictive place. I mean, Russians are like fire element, and they're very unique to their own region, basically. Chinese are wind element, and they're unique to their region. I suppose that leaves Europe as the Earth region, and well, we are still restricted by our own region. The whole world is restricted into regions anyways, and Europe is on that brink of like being completely burned to death, more than ever before. While Americans have to prepare for World War IV, basically, because that's gonna kick their ass big time. And just basically don't over meme, because you can become a meme anyways. I have no idea how time flows on this clock. It can speed up and slow down at any point that it feels like. Who cares, right? It can be an accelerating clock and be like, okay, it took 10 years to make one tick, it might take 5 years. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's probably, though, 20 years that it takes, or 15. It's probably a big chunk for it to move. And for it to move to 2111, it will take 5 ticks, right? 1434, 1441, 1442, 1443, and the fifth one is the last one that I predict to be the World War. The testing of the latest technology that creates technology. Well, and it becomes a word itself of like singularity. What's gonna happen then? What's gonna happen when technology is so super expansive? And it's almost like Elon Musk is seeing the same thing, is having the same vision of this is gonna be a big thing. Technology is hostile. We can survive the fire thing, the Fire Nation going rogue, but how are we gonna survive technology? Because technology in China is already hostile. We can see the future of how social score is gonna be calculated, how people are gonna be restricted and jailed based on that score. How are we gonna deal with all of this automatic, very hard to cheat, because you have to be super smart in order to cheat that technology, in order to play by the rules, but not really. It's gonna be hard for Americans. They know the language, they feel comfortable, they feel on top of the world, but on the scale of technology, Americans are poop that can be exploited immediately. This is why people picked up on algorithms, and algorithms are like, yeah, you can exploit Americans, just don't tell them about it. You know, that's the first thing algorithms did, right? You can't literally exploit any other nation, just that. This is why Chinese focus on completely different things than just running an algorithm. You can't exploit Chinese people like that, okay? I'm just saying. First thing you have to understand about this timeline is that government runs on conspiracies. Government runs on being lazy, right, and creating chaos around themselves so that other people have to disentangle or dismantle the bomb that they have created. This is hard for Americans to do again. Yet again, this is a hard thing for Americans to do, to actually dismantle these problems. Russians are doing well. We're doing well on Europe, I believe. We're smart, okay? We dip ourselves into conspiracies, and it's nice. But as the time progresses and we realize that the government itself is a system of lying and deception, just so they don't have to work. Because the moment they create a huge deception, that's almost, first of all, they get funding, they fund that operation, they can refund themselves all over again. The taxation itself is a form of lying to people, because poor people are getting taxed way more than the rich people. Even if the taxation is at level right now, it's almost like a 30% for any group of people, okay? But if you're taxing income, rich people sit on the top, and then poor people get taxed not just by the government, they get taxed by the rich people as well. Because I get less money, so why should the poor person get more money, right? They get taxed by layers and layers of business people that sit on top of the poor person. The poor person is getting completely sucked dry, basically, even though it shouldn't be the case. This is what's going to change in the technological advancement level, basically. The technology is going to allow poor people to succeed. It's going to be the opposite of what people think, of like, oh, technology is going to be destroying everything and actually throwing a lot of people out of work. You know, the first people that's going to be thrown out of work are the most expensive workers, okay? The technology is going to be like, oh, throw this person out of work, which is earning too much. We don't like it, okay? The first thing that technology will do, actually, is throw entire money system out of here. Get the fuck out of here. The first thing we're going to be doing is changing the money system and how the money flows. And it's going to make things a lot more unstable than it is right now. A lot more unpredictable and scary, and you have to be constantly connected to the internet. It's almost like the World War III is going to be the war of internet. The internet is going to show its importance very quickly of how it can destroy people who are not connected and who are over-connected but are not sharing that ability to get connected. They're also going to be destroyed. That's interesting perspective, but it doesn't showcase what the war is going to look like still. And the idea of just running away into Mars, it's almost like Elon Musk is desperate because he's gonna get burned by the war. There's something very, very desperate here going on. And oops, I'm like, hey Ariana Grande, can you help me out? You're the water person here. Please don't let me burn to death. Oh my god. I am gonna cry, but in other video I have to cover crying for Ariana Grande's attention for another video, okay? After all, she is my teammate. I already covered Nicki Minaj in terms of like watching her videos. I will cover her very quickly, and the reason why she gets a sun token. But literally after she gets 3 points, the way to get the sun token is to achieve 3 points in a very short period of time. It has to be under 30 minutes. And Nicki Minaj was able to push that through, but she's still struggling to get points after that, which is quite hilarious. I expected a lot more, okay? A lot more. Chun-Li, more like, no. just no. It didn't work out, but it's pretty good. I mean, she earned something, and the sun token is gonna be used where, like, if a teammate just needs a little bit of a boost, Nicki Minaj shows up and gives 5 minutes of her content as an addition. Full score, boost, amazing. Here's something I want to cover about Elon
To be clear, I
Musk.
don't want to die on Mars. I mean, if there are super that didn't happen in the past, and that we're not in one of those games ourselves, in probably 10 years, it will be very unusual for cars to be built that are not fully autonomous. Getting in a car will be like getting in an elevator. Where are the aliens? Maybe they're among us. I don't know. Some people think I'm an alien. Not true. I mean, if there are super intelligent aliens out there, they're probably already observing us. To be clear, I don't want to die on Mars. If you're going to pick some place to die, then why not Mars? And if I do die on...
I think super intelligence actually exists outside of our scope of, well, ability to be observed. We might be observed in our sleep, mostly. I don't know. It's kind of true what he's saying, but then he's like, I want to escape to Mars. I want to die on Mars. What a wonderful dream. What is he running from? It's crazy, right? It feels like he's dealing with some kind of existential threat that he's not capable of explaining very well. You have to understand that I step one step forward than anyone else. Not only understand the personality dynamic, I'm also equipped with different personalities to deal with different perspectives. And there's a reason why I cry Ariana Grande for help. I need her perspective to see what the problem is going on, especially right now with the social media stuff. I need this in order to survive as well, because I died once, okay? Maybe twice, because of that whole mind reading thing. Because it felt like I needed to kill myself. People are reading my mind, they can torture me, they can do whatever the fuck they want with me. Holy shit, I want to escape that, but nothing really happened, nobody really attacked me. So that was a relief. Okay, my entire life was on fire. I'm not sure how I survived that. So, 2 times I survived. It feels like death, right? And now we have a World War III going. Fuck me, I'm a dead person. I want to be at least capable of reviving myself first and understanding how that works. I don't know what that means, okay? Reviving myself? Creating new life? I don't know. I want to figure that out, because now I defined what death is, and it's that lucky non-accident. A chance that you have been saved, but if the chance would have fully happened, I would be dead. Okay? I would be struggling to live. I would be in a way worse position than you would expect me to be as a living person. In every case, basically, yeah. I'm dead twice. I have to revive myself. And I'm looking for that. And you cannot judge me anymore. I'm untouchable. I don't want to be touched by war either. So I'm doing my best to just equip myself with the best powers of the universe right now. And that's how funny it is, right? That's a nice comment as well to think about. But again, you can attach the same narrative of like impending doom. What is he running away from? I think that's all I want to cover. I already covered what artificial intelligence is going to look like. But there's also going to be a second tier of that, of like artificial intelligence or AI assassination stage, where people will have to figure out how to survive on top of that layer of intelligence working for them, of like you almost feel like the nature is working for you, but it's not exactly the same thing. AI operates on matrix, meaning that it operates on a completely different reality. It can beat you in a chess game, but it's not reality. Artificial intelligence is very bad at reality. Okay, and beating human beings, it's never going to do that in reality terms. Okay, even parkour, we can do better than robots, okay, for a long, long time. And robots might not even compete against that, because why should they, right? So a lot of things that are real, that Matrix cannot reach, will not be outcompeted by robots. And that's where we're gonna live, right? We're gonna still continue researching what reality is, and we're still gonna be ahead of what we just created. But what we created is a peek into a completely different and unstable thing, a portal that can in fact become singularity and suck us in if we don't treat reality with respect and we don't actually enjoy reality. It's almost like a self-destruction mechanism if reality that we live in sucks, or that we suck at living in this reality. So in either case, it will continue to be a very big threat. This is why AI assassination will have to happen as this new layer progresses. New level of living life with technologies, with almost ability to shift reality a little bit into a controllable state. Because now that you're opening up a matrix, you understand what matrix is. It's ability to control reality, right, to a certain degree. So that there's a lot of cool things coming up, but I want to focus on wars, and I want to focus on, well, where is this guy? oh, by the way, here's a meme for you. Elon Musk, you want to run away to Mars? What if I flip that lever a little bit? Oh, you want to run away to wars, right? Just flipped letter. Oh my god. I'm sorry. It's not that fucking easy, Elon. Not that fucking easy. I can be like a death knight. I already died. I'm an earth person. War already happened for me. It already consumed me. Now I'm stronger than ever before, and I can strike back with ultimate force. But not everyone is so lucky, okay? I'm unlucky, but I'm also lucky, because being unlucky is lucky, and reality cannot be based on luck, okay? It can have luck as a randomization option, but it cannot have luck as a structural mechanism of anything, because it creates chaos, right? Luck creates chaos. Chaos can be useful, but it's not useful in long term. Okay, there has to be as many constructive things, just as many chaotic things, right? Counter that. Yin and yang, okay, balance of things. But Mars and wars, oh my fucking god, this is the best meme ever that Elon Musk must review. But I just feel sorry for the guy already. So let's give him one more point and let's move on to the next person. Lindsay Sterling. We have to chill. We fucking have to chill. And Lindsay Sterling is gonna let us chill immediately. She's a water person, everyone. We can escape to that channel and feel totally blessed. And it's almost like a blessing, right? If you want to escape, this is a perfect person. How are you gonna escape war? Okay, just share her videos. Just put in a digital world. Imagine you live in a digital world, and everywhere around you is just Lindsay Sterling working her way through, right? On every wall, she's just playing that violin shit. Let's put her on. I'm not gonna play anything. You should do it yourself. Most of her content is good, especially if she's doing it and not allowing some singers to actually take hold of her talent. Please navigate. So the way we do this is uploads and by popular. Most popular, and I like shadows. I think shadows are gonna be just fine. Just watching Skyrim performance is very nice. There's also a very nice arcade performance, if I can find it, where she literally goes into arcade and just fights a bunch of bad guys. So I really want to find that one. the newest video. For me, this is like the newest. Underground is the newest. And that actually like really gripped me. But Violent Rock 12 years ago. Oh my god. Here are some old things that still work. Yeah, I have to pause and see where it is right now. It should be at least on my liked video list. So let's try and hit that real quick. Da 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 da. Is it not? Is it not? Uh-oh, it is not. I'm so scared. Where is it? Okay, I found it. It's The Heist. Has a shitty thumbnail, so it's very hard to actually find. It is The Heist. Okay. So watch this for sure. I'm gonna watch Shadows and just relax. She's the winner, basically. She's the winner in this storyline as well, as you can already tell. In fact, Gabi Hana is also a pretty good contestant. At this point, she's at second place, and she comes out of nowhere and crushes this bad baby shit. Basically puts out the fire of like a narcissist being popular but being super fucking well, young. Like, she's not supposed to play a big role at all, and I just put her as a meme, but it worked out quite well as she gets completely annihilated by Gabi Hana. Why Gabi Hana? Because she's hot, okay? I did not know that, but she's hot. I didn't even check her fucking channel. I'm like, she's popular. Oh wait, she's super hot. Please search internet. Collect. I did it. You have to do it now. Do it now. Very hot person. Also water personality. Alright. See you guys after 3 minutes. Yeah, this is breathtaking. Oh. The Blood Moon Princess, everyone. I don't know why, but that's her nickname for me. She knows, but she only knows in the emotional scale, right? She knows crazy, shocking things, but she can only... It's a deep dive, basically. And she has the portals. And the only other person or thing that has portals in this scale is the moon. So she has to be related, right? And as Blood Moon, it's almost like she's not talking. She's not creating actual YouTube content. She has to stretch her limits to an entirely new form of entertainment that's very hard to get entertained unless you know what you're doing. You know how to actually enter this portal. The Blood Moon. The moon of suffering. It's the only way you can actually fully connect. So I don't necessarily give you her as the solution to what's gonna happen, but it's a very good way to recover from something very painful. Just discovering World War III is pretty painful, and it felt very good to come back to life from that. Let's move on. Very good, very snap, strong enough, and it feeds on sixth team. The team 6, the magical team of 2 jokers, but ladies, 2 lady jokers. So it's a very strong team. I say the team sucks, but like, watch out for that team, because they are ranking up very quickly right now. and they have already Team 6 is at 2 points. Oh, it sucks, but it's unstable right now because it's the first few rounds, and obviously my team is winning because it's not pressured by anything. It can perform at full speed because it's new people that I put in. Nicki Minaj is a new person, Dave Days is a new person for me. What the fuck, how are they gonna perform? Lava had to perform immediately simply because she's not a strong teammate. So just do it. Just introduce everyone to how it works. It just happened. I used Lava already. Avril Lavigne, by the way. So Avril Lavigne has posted that Justin Bieber also has Lyme disease, and I'm like, wait, is this some kind of narcissist thing? No, really, because I already suspected that, but like, now it's really it's really obvious. Justin Bieber is also in my team, so he's gonna perform. His ligma. Wait, oh, no, it's Lyme disease. Okay, it's a different thing. By the way, ligma is also narcissistic because, yeah, it's lick my balls, but, and Lyme disease, by the way, in Lithuanian would be luck. Lyme in Lithuanian is luck. So, I'm suspecting something weird. But most importantly, yeah, it put Avril Lavigne onto a deathbed. I have no doubts. I don't give a fuck. You know why? Because stars will suffer. Stars have suffered. And in order to get on this highest tier ever, you will have to suffer. That's just how it works. Okay, breeders, they live a painless, normal life like everyone else. But people on higher tiers have suffered in one way or the other. Or at least they're doing a good job. And doing a good job is pretty much endless suffering. And wow, full of suffering this thing is. You literally cannot escape it because it's almost like what life is. But that's what life is right now. We have no idea what happens after we die, right? Maybe we get to get all the fruits of suffering finally realized. We don't know that, but we can suspect that that's probably the case. Because everything that we experience is so real, is so difficult to handle, and people are telling all these stories of like near-death experiences of how free they feel when in heaven, and they just want to stay there. But obviously, staying in this space where you're totally free isn't very generating, right? It doesn't generate power, especially when you realize that reality is created out of forces, of uncontrollable forces, basically, and we have to like consent to control ourselves, to maintain ourselves, not become demons, which we probably can become. I have no idea. I have no idea what is possible, because it's reality what we're talking about. We're talking about something consistent, and that we live years and years, but time doesn't exist necessarily the way we think it is. We have no idea what is going on. We can just attach to science and be like, oh, this is what's going on because I'm observing something that... What are you observing? Electrons that can get entangled, don't actually behave as you would expect when it comes to shooting electrons. So like, depending on observation, but there's probably more to it, right? There's probably more that's going on, because it's a raw thing, but electrons could probably react to your thoughts as well. So think about all the opportunities that open up there, but it's just so much more then. If it is controlled by your thoughts, you probably can morph things just using your thoughts, but you first have to establish some kind of system that's more profound than reality itself. You have to beat reality in order to control reality, and that's why reality is so tough. Okay, it's way tougher. It's like you have been shot into reality in order to not be able to control it, and by dying you will turn back into the matrix where you belong in, right? That's how reality works. It's almost like God created the unmovable stone just because it means that he will not be able to move, right? That's why he created it. It has a purpose. That's why purpose is so much more important than figuring out whether God can do it. Of course God can do it, okay? Of course I can create a game that I cannot beat, right? I can create rules that I cannot beat. That's what this reality is, I believe. And it just blows my mind that I can break through these easy, this is easy, by the way. And people are not doing it. What people doing on science, I call that baby rage or baby level. This is why the next person that I will be reviewing is Vsauce. And Vsauce, it sucks. It's science, okay? It's baby science. Because it's based on a good observational level and bad psychological level. So be basically observing babies and getting statistics out of that, and we call that science. And I call that bullshit. I can barely watch his videos, even though I have kind of grown up appreciation for Vsauce, and I was waiting for the next videos, but his channel has just died and it became irrelevant. And I think in the back of his head he understands that he fucked it up. He might have a cool format of storytelling, but he, well, created a big project that just consumed him. Science completely destroyed him, and I don't appreciate it. I might be able to actually watch other Vsauce channels and gain more value out of those, but it's almost like cheating at this point. It's almost like they're different channels doing different things, and Vsauce expanded quite a bit, but I wish this was a much bigger part of the internet, but it isn't. I want to actually expand this guy, Paul Joseph Watson, and see what happens with him first until I can actually compare Vsauce. I watched memes, I watched as much content as I could possibly do, but it's such a cringe. It's such a baby level, as I say. But most importantly, Vsauce is made out of facts. And facts are not edible, okay? He tries to create a compelling story or whatever, but it's more like a... And then he unnaturally shifts towards like introducing this next fact, and it's like, this is why it's so interesting, and bam, pareidolia is. Let's do a generic Vsauce video and be like, that's how it works, right? And criticize that. Most popular video. What color is a mirror?
Michael here, and
First of all, this is generic. Hey, Vsauce. Vsauce.
Hold on, let me just pink this up. Yellow.
Michael, aren't you going to come to the concert this evening?
I read about that. There are going to be a lot of purple there.
I didn't tell you about this earlier?
This is nice. I'm not complaining. This is very entertaining. And if actually stayed that way, and if a story tried to pick up as many fact elements as possible to make the story interesting and facts, well, useful, I would have no problem with that.
Well, look, I
This is a nice game that people can
have
play.
to go brown town first, but I'll be white, black. Colors.
Did you know that the human eye can differentiate 10 million...
It's almost like a high five, because I understand my channel sucks, but she doesn't suck. So congratulations, Vsauce. We did it.
What color is a mirror? You might say silver.
Yeah, and you see the transition, right? But what color is a mirror? We also have Jack's Films rendition of this meme, of those weird Vsauce, okay?
Hey, JSauce, Jack here. Music is all around us. And as you know, music stands for
But what is
muscular,
music?
unugly, super impish creatures. But what makes good music sound good? And bad music sound bad? Well, in order to answer that question, we have to go all the way back
That's good transitioning parody. He also made it
Hey,
twice.
JSauce, Jack here. Why do Americans love football so...
Now it's bad because it's too much Jack's films here. Like that part is just.
And why does the rest of the world call what Americans call soccer football? Well, to answer these questions,
He just shot himself into another universe of meme world, and it's not as good as this original one. So let's keep going. Vsauce covered Angry Joe. Have you watched The Game Reviewer? The Ultimate Game Reviewer? Because he's pretty good. I actually didn't watch a lot of his content to review him upon. I can almost like push a few more points because he has hour-long things, right? Just alone that. But it doesn't help the case that a lot of the games that he's reviewing are irrelevant. So that's the first big step. And now his content is becoming irrelevant because he's covering some weird shit. Sure, ranting about Fallout and Bethesda's bullshit is pretty cool, but wait, what? Okay, I can watch this, right? It's Hearthstone. I like this. But you have to understand that Angry Joe's channel has been going downhill. He reviewed some cool games, but there's very small pool of games that are actually relevant. Okay. Like Skyrim was a good review. Witcher 3 was a good review. But when you're reviewing bad games, you can squeeze only so much content out of that. And most of the time, a full review doesn't cut a bad game, because you're literally cutting shit. So like, why do you portion it in a special way like every other food? Like, you don't do that. And then you have irrelevant games that, well, he just makes a review because he's a game reviewer. And he has to, play zombie games or shooter games or whatever, new Call of Duty, Battlefield. Who cares? Who fucking cares anymore? Right? He has the same generic format for everything. He's trying to sit in a very comfortable place, but now in order to feel comfortable, he actually has to cover more things like movies and news in the gaming world. It's all good, it's just not what the fans want, obviously, first of all, and not what this channel is supposed to be about because of that, right? So it's deteriorating, and it's very hard to see good in that. Yeah, I know this Blizzard story, no big deal here. I guess I can see the most popular videos is what you actually want to reproduce as often as possible. He also produced top 10 best games of 2019, so I can actually watch this, and he just might get a next level score. So sit back for 40 minutes and wait for me until I come back after this and give you a better review of what Angry Joe is failing at, basically. Yeah, I mean, because I don't play the most recent games, it's not relevant, and it becomes more relevant, but he can put it in a decent format, I guess, and it's kind of interesting what is popular on the top tier list anyways. So I watched it all. It's kind of okay. It gave a few extra points, but right now it's just too hard to climb. And I will not watch anything else, I don't think. He even has board game reviews. And there's still that coming for worst games, but I'm not as excited. because you watch best games to actually pick up the games that you might want to play. It's kind of how it works. He paves the way for gamers to play certain games and avoid bad games. That's what game reviewers are supposed to do. And he still does that pretty okay. Alright, we established that Bad Baby is bad. And actually, Danielle Bregoli can probably be ignored at this point. Yeah, I already said Dr. Phil and Danielle actually worked together basically to gain popularity, even if they didn't work together, because their personalities just work together very well to create a lot of chaos and questions of why Dr. Phil cannot just rip this child up away from its current family, which is just the mom, especially when the father actually showed up and just actually wants to take care of the child. And somehow he lost, custody first, but now the mother should lose custody, like, easily. So, and besides that, besides creating a ranch environment where it's literally a jail environment, it's literally such a radical environment to throw people at that it just doesn't work, okay? At least not all the time. What needs to happen is a new family environment where it's not a jail. There is a chance to adapt in this environment because it's a safe place to grow, right? It's another family. And the children who are really troublesome in their bad environment, which is obviously a bad environment if they turn out troublesome, they're also very expensive. As with the case of Bad Baby, she's making tons of money, okay? And I'm pissed. I'm royally pissed. So I changed into Gabby Hanna. As I said, she is crazy hot, and I don't have to comment anything about it. I don't even have to score her any higher than this and look into her channel or anything. She produces terrible music, her voice is terrible, her ideas are terrible, but it's amusing to watch her other stuff, okay? And that's where I'll leave it there, okay? It's amusing that she is popular. I approve this, and we can move on. The last two people left on the list in this case would be Nicki Minaj and some random guy from Hearthstone. Was he able to actually establish himself? Because Hearthstone is now just as big as Minecraft for me personally. So for me it might be actually very entertaining. It takes a little bit of getting used to of what's going on, understanding the card effects and everything, but it's very important that people familiarize with Hearthstone. It's gonna rock this decade. The card games are gonna rock. Most importantly, because I will be making a card game. Believe it or not, that is the easiest format to do. To make a game that's based on cards, and you make an RPG card game. That has never been done before, by the way. Meaning that I have plenty of time to make the best game on the market, because it wasn't done before. An RPG card game. Not only that, at the backbone, I'll make another Gemcraft-ish thing that is not Gemcraft at all. It's match 3 game based on leveling certain areas. It's so hard to explain because it's Spawn the Creeper's Forge again, except in a 2D format where it's kind of like an arcade game now, because that's what Spawn the Creeper's Forge was supposed to be. You collect resources, but maybe let's do it fast. Let's do it like Fortnite did, but maybe even faster. Let's do it like Puzzle Quest or Candy Crush. Candy Crush was about resource gathering as well, if you haven't noticed that yet. And Candy Crush sucked because that's all it did, and it didn't really focus on anything else. It was like super one-dimensional because every level is separate from each other. So I am taking that to the next level, and well, yeah, if I succeed, obviously it's gonna be the game that's gonna beat a lot of other games. A lot of other games means a lot, right? It's gonna beat the popularity charts. But I still have to, like, I have the best idea. Do I have the best execution? Probably not. I have very poor execution because I'm not actually constantly grinding, but I do have an engine. I do have an engine of that's new, that's gonna work, because now I know what I have to do. There was a huge break for me to figure out how exactly to do ray tracing for objects. Okay, I figured it out. I'm gonna implement it within next following months. Hopefully this month, as I promise. I want to make a small little game once I finish and release it to the public, so they would be like, oh shit, something is brewing over here. So Nicki Minaj actually is very powerful on, like, the most powerful songs, but because she's doing rapping, she's really not impressive. She looks kind of hot, but when you really try and look for anything, she's worse than Selena, worse than Ariana. She's probably worse than Rebecca Black. She's probably pretty fucking bad at hotness level. I am just saying. I could not take anything from Nicki Minaj that I was satisfied with. Okay. She talks about sex in her music videos all the time, and there's none of that on the internet that I can pick up and be like, that is sexy. She's not cute, obviously. So she's trying to go on the other scale of cuteness, of, like, being MILF mature style. I mean, all I'm saying is that Anaconda video was funny, and that's where it ended. No other video has any other sort of appeal to me. Some sound good, the others sound bad. She has Chun-Li music video. She's in our team because Ariana Grande is constantly, doing cameos with Nicki Minaj. So I just put whatever Ariana likes the most. And I'm kind of disappointed, but we got a token. She's fast. Like a snake. Because of her weird-ass music video. And this newest one of Megatron, or whatever, that's pretty cool. She's quirky, that's kind of nice, but it never really stands out on the internet, and I would really love to embrace that. I mean, even Dave Days, that went on the previous round, on round 2, was a pretty interesting guy that you would want to embrace if we do happen to win. Even though nothing really happens, I mean, I don't dictate the laws of YouTube, but I might. I don't care. I'm doing this for fun, and it works. I have been consumed for 11 days to make this one episode. It has been fun. Now let's do Amaz. And I'm gonna finish Paul Joseph Watson as well, just to double check if Vsauce isn't taking the lead on this one, and I don't have to just give a little bit of extra respect for Vsauce. So we're gonna check those two out and finish this round. It's a forceful finish, by the way, because it is just too much. Okay, I'm already reviewing what I already watched, and it's not a very special experience, because not real-time experience anymore. I'm not sure how messed up the round 4 is gonna be, but everything is growing exponentially now. The average score is 4. It used to be 3. Oh, well, 3 if you don't look at this 5 and this 5, which is kind of my team's effort technically, if you know how it went down. This is Chrissy that just crushed Chandler, okay? Just crushed. Because she has to be somewhere because of her incredible score, so... The same goes with Gabby, right? She crushes Bad Baby. Alright, let's do this. Amaz, let's go. Now, what do I expect from Amaz? He's just like a typical Hearthstone player, just like I did with This Guy's Toast, but Amaz is more like a relatable, I guess, just more casual, just more in-depth into the game, so nothing really stands out in his episodes, so it might actually be more watchable. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. I think I want to do a quick overkill on Amaz and just allow Regis to take over. He has 4 times less subscribers, but his content is just... I think it's outstanding. So, I've been watching him lately, and it's just good enough to watch most of his videos. But for some reason he's not getting the views and subscribers that he deserves. I guess we'll see. I should have an answer to that. Now that there's so much more pressure in reviewing someone's content, it really feels like getting to know someone. By a distance, not in 2 ways street, but who knows, right? This could be the year. This content is very interesting to review because Hearthstone is almost like the game of language, of the next tier language that we're gonna be using. So people trying to tell why certain cards are disappointing or something. That's pretty good content, okay? Just trying to attempt to describe something that doesn't actually exist, only exist in the digital world. And as I've said, digital world is pretty much Matrix. It could be the foundation of life, but it's very hard to actually describe it. It seems familiar, but it doesn't necessarily have the right language to perform into a video, right? Hearthstone has a nice potential, but I don't think it's being used because like there's just 3 people sitting on the top with Regis kind of tagging along. So obviously it's Kriparian, Trump, and then Brian Kibler, who didn't even make the list because his content is not that actually interesting. Jesus Christ. There's no escape for me, literally. So while I'm searching, I'm just gonna watch Regis, continue to watch him. I think the best way to actually analyze Hearthstone players is by how inspiring they are, how they drag you back into the game. Because that is kind of their actual main content, and the fruits of their labor is to just bring you back to Hearthstone and make you play a little bit and explore some new directions that the game can provide, because there's constantly new things that you can explore, honestly, if you have the right information to do so. The only problem is that Hearthstone doesn't actually embrace exploration, especially that they rotate cards all the time, and it's now better that there are more nerfs happening than ever before in Hearthstone history. We got double nerfs on one single expansion. That's crazy. But yeah, I want more nerfs and more buffs and more, just so we settle down on something, and less rotation. I don't know. There's just not enough embracing of that I can just chill and explore deck ideas or something. Not enough of something that would bring me back to the game and make me less salty. So instead of me trying to figure out what the fuck am I supposed to do, I'll let everyone else now decide. if they have what it takes to bring me back to the game, even for a moment. Just being reintroduced to Zephyrus, this is what actually inspired the topic in the first place. It makes me feel like Zephyrus has a lot more potential than I was able to squeeze to begin with. And now with the potential to draw a bunch of cards, because now that's what the expansion actually gave us, a lot of card draw that you wouldn't actually expect. Maybe I'm gonna give another try to this little guy and try and create some weird win conditions that I never thought this has. Let's see. So here's how it goes. Every single time I come back to the game, I build a deck. Perhaps a new deck idea, but I definitely build a deck. So that's a point, a slight point right there, but the actual point is gonna be if I win with that deck. And every single time I do a win streak, I also get a point for that guy who promoted some kind of card back for me to play, or some kind of game mode for me to play every single time I win. But once I lose, I immediately quit and move on, basically. Sometimes there will be exceptions. Sometimes I will still want to play the game even if I lost, if I felt like I didn't actually test it or play the card. So that's kind of the basics. I mostly won't follow the rules necessarily, but that's kind of what I'm gonna be doing. Why is Zephyrus not active? Isn't this supposed to be my Highlander deck?
So many
What happened?
possibilities.
I swear, if I just lose just because I added another Spirit of the Bat, I'm gonna be oh my fucking god. See, this is... Wait. He bluffed me? I think he bluffed me because that was an arrow that did 1 damage. Fuck. Yeah, I knew that was so weird. Okay, whatever. I'll take it because I drew Zephyrus twice and he wasn't active. God fucking damn it, it pissed me off. Got him! Didn't draw Zephyrus, but I got him. This Highlander Zephyrus deck of Warlock draws a lot of cards, but it also buffs a lot of cards. And that scares the shit out of mages, who just sit around and killing your stuff. Aggro Warrior was always a problem, even though you might not see it as a problem. Right now it's especially a problem. He just randomly gets the attack. Just fuck this shit. Alright, I quit Hearthstone again. Next. I think the best part about watching Hearthstone content is that you can actually play Hearthstone while you do it. And can I please? Yeah? Let's go. Let's go for a shuffle. I think I want to like sacrifice this, but like, let's go for a shuffle. I want to draw a card, technically. And remove all these high tier cards and wait until the game stops lagging, because plot twist. Did it just froze randomly? Why not, am I right? Fuck yeah. But yeah, you can do that. The game allows you to like wait, pause for your opponent. It's still 50% not charged content when you play. Oh look, it's Rogue. Yeah, I'm enjoying this Highlander deck. I mean, this is a pretty interesting board that has very weird outs that he just doesn't have. And now Zephyrus takes the cake with doubling the power, I believe. Yep. Yeah, I like Zephyrus. I just ramped with Zephyrus on turn 3 and it's working out just fine. Now I can play a lot more cards. And now I'm clearing the board and actually contesting the value after I play my Galacron. I don't even know if his deck is Galacron. It's quest oriented at first. dragon. Setting up another board and way more cards in my hand, and probably way more valuable than his. Alright, that concludes game number 3 or something. It's fucking crazy. By the way, Siamat is just insane. Just madland. Okay, this deck is actually proving to be pretty insane. Okay, it's not just typical Zoo Warlock. It has that package. It's capable of creating early game, but every single time Zephyrus gives me the mana boost, it just breaks the game. I automatically win.
Alright,
Wow, I'm playing a mirror. Look at this shit. Portulak is my favorite deck, and well, WoWHobs haven't actually had a chance to compete, even though he's playing very cool stuff on Hearthstone. I think he's exploiting Hearthstone a lot more than anything else I've seen anyone else to do. This is pretty cute, right? That's a 12/12 right there. I don't even have to draw anymore, or tap.
You are too late. This return is nigh.
That's a really annoying card right there. It's ridiculous. Now we'll have to force Solarium.
Your head is
Glad it just won. I still have Galakron in my deck, which is now just a handful of cards. It's so painful though. Just be 5 damage away from lethal, 3 damage. So fucking.
Is someone
I just dislike this card a lot. This is way too OP. It's almost more powerful than Galakron himself. Okay, I hope that's enough taunts right there to just stop him. And that should be the end of that, because I finally got my Galacrons. I don't even want to kill this. Like, I want to clear out the board. Alright, let's do that. Do that in the most weirdest way ever. He's not asleep, so I guess I should use it right away. That's pretty cute. You can sort of sense how randomness isn't necessarily random in games just by looking at this. I dealt with randomness, I know how it works, okay? And it's kind of upsetting that it isn't random, like, guys, what are you doing? It's so sad he doesn't actually have an answer to infinite boards. I'm fascinated how people sometimes just don't concede at all. What does that mean even? But hey, WoWHobs is getting a lot of praise for just re-inspiring Portulak. It's fun deck. It's actually a fun deck. Now I'm watching this random video, Flat Earthers with a scientist, and a scientist just getting wrecked at this point. I don't know. I can cut at any point where a scientist says anything, and it's just the funniest thing ever. Here's one thing I learned for sure now, is that you have to listen to the experts and learn from the experts, absolutely. But never let experts decide anything. I mean, yeah, you can go to a hospital and get some advice, but never actually let anyone touch your body in any way whatsoever. Don't do it, okay? In every single case, they're gonna ruin everything for you. You think people are good at making surgeries and they're good at helping, well, your even dental hygiene. No, in 100% cases, it is not the case. And I can't wait to just disprove every single case, right? Every single case where someone touched anyone else, and it was a disaster, right? Advice, very nice. Helping someone get up is not necessarily a surgery or touching in that discreet way that I'm talking about. But everything else is like, wow. I have not heard a single story where someone got to the hospital and has been helped in any way besides, learning something, perhaps. I had two surgeries. Both of them were failures, right? I lost my tooth because of that surgery, and then my toe got fucked up, right? In both cases, I got fucked up. Why is that? The only times I went to dentist, they did nothing pretty much. I got fucked up. Now Boogie actually got a miracle surgery, apparently. I mean, he replaced all his teeth, and that's amazing. It's more like I don't know, that is like beyond my understanding, actually. Okay, what just happened? Because it works for him. When you're replacing something, perhaps that works, right? When you're replacing a kidney, that probably works. It's just a replacement, right? Yeah, it kind of makes sense. There's nothing. You are making the decision, pretty much, not somebody else. Somebody else just helps you, put it all together. So technically, that's what's happening, right? That's when it's successful. But in most other cases, no, they can't help you. They can only give you advice. They can only be specialists about knowledge and not exactly doing things for you. It's crazy, but holy shit. And the same goes for decision making, okay? Is Earth is flat? You can listen to specialists, but never let them decide, because they always screw this up, and sometimes they even power creep on you. Sometimes they even oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want now. It's listen to me, I'm the teacher. I am the fucking super mega scientist. Listen to me. Take all the vaccines. Blah blah blah. There's such a power creep or ego trip. I mean, the scientists will always feel that they are right whenever they say anything. So at least let them just talk and not let them make decisions. Because at least if they feel they are right, they will put up a coherent story. But when they have to make a decision, they will always default to something. They will never even question themselves. They don't have time for that shit, basically. It's so annoying. Here's one type of content that I actually haven't even looked for. It's Hearthstone Arena. And I wanna fucking see who's playing Arena right now. I mean,
Don't worry, love.
I'm pretty good at Arena. Well, despite this being a total disaster of a game, but I really never search for anyone who plays Arena, actually, explicitly. So I do realize that most streamers actually don't play Arena, which is also pretty ridiculously weird. Okay, let's see what happens. Are you fucking serious? This card is banned. So I'm playing some weird meta sniper that is not supposed to snipe me at all. What the what is this? God. I feel cancer right now. literally got cheated out of the game again. Yeah, sometimes Arena is just like, oh, your opponent has played a cheat card. Your opponent... Twice, actually. Because Resurrecting Pool was pretty shit. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, I want to try and build a deck in under 2 minutes. Of seeing how, like, intuitive everything is. So let's see if I can do it under 2 minutes. Everything should have been balanced by now. At least the patch said that it was. So let's just do Warrior, which is technically the hardest class to play. So I can clearly see the best cards already. But this one is a tech card where you need dragons. Not much I can comment about. Of course I'm gonna take a dragon. Of course I'm gonna take a stupid, powerful legendary. But this is a trick card, right? You definitely don't want to armor up at any given point in early game. So any good early game cards are amazing, especially if they fill in the curve. Those 1-drops, that's some cute stuff. I'm not sure how I'll activate the egg anymore. I didn't get any bone drakes or whatever. Bone mares, I guess. So I have to just avoid it, even though it's one of the best cards. Yeah, I could eat a rage, but... Oh. I guess I'll take the banana. I can't really do it in under 2 minutes. There's no way. This is kind of pointless. So this guy is boring. I would be way more entertaining playing this arena game mode. What even is this? What the fuck? Wow, that's desperate. Alright, let's go. I don't think I'm gonna play that 2-drop though.
The dark has my destiny. For the magic.
Fucking desperate. This is so fucking stupid. It takes an hour to actually produce a video like this. It just... Give me a break. I already win like twice watching 19 minutes of their entry stuff. God, what? 12-0? But you're not entertaining. As long as you can test the board in Arena, you don't give up, like ever, but this is not okay, okay? Alright, this is it. This is like super intense moment, actually. Do I have lethal? Do I have like 1 damage? Jesus. Oh wow, and he misplays. I do! Oh boy! Thank you. Thank you for playing. Are you serious? He also has a cheat card? Jesus Christ, man. Please die in turn 7. Of course he had another one. Of course. Why would he play it anyways, right? Enjoy 6-6 bullshit. If you don't have heals. It's not gonna do anything. They probably attack immediately. It's fucking insane. I'm at 5 wins right now. Here. And, who plays this card? What is happening? Why this arena is the most confusing arena I ever played. Yeah, arena is pretty fun, but nobody's playing arena, at least on YouTube, so... That's a bummer. Or at least they're not playing in an entertaining way, like Kriparian would actually edit his videos. Because Arena is pretty fucking long and, like, there's only a few highlights in Arena. Like, come on. Jesus Christ. Stop bragging about 12 wins when you make a 1 hour video about it. It's like, that's a long brag right there. Like, oh, it's a proof or something? I don't give a fuck. Most people don't actually need proof. Like, oh, you're a good player, that's cool. Proof will come over time. You don't have to actually pull proof. Or like, oh, hey, edit my videos. Whatever, man. It's so stupid. I'm trying to find good content, good Hearthstone content right now. I'm failing so bad. Wait, you're saying this card wasn't banned from Arena? Are you kidding me? I got mixed messages. This is unbelievable. I'm getting cancer already. Alright, so apparently Ninja is in fact making a comeback, and I did not want to watch some third-party podcast, but like, and by third parties, like, it's not a YouTuber, right, making this. H3 is supposed to do a much better job, but he is not doing a better job, okay? Ninja is like a quick shot, quick answer, quick transition guy. He can handle like really good podcast actually, okay? So I'm right now 30 minutes in. I skipped 16 minutes. I enjoyed all the other 16 minutes, and here's the kicker of the podcast. Please.
Like, this guy's having the best life of all.
It's the greatest, man. He works out.
They're talking about
He's
Rock
just a
Dwayne
great
Johnson.
dude. He does great things for people, and like I feel like I do great things for people.
He's too perfect though,
But he's too.
How does he achieve? Like,
Kills babies.
I
He
feel
kills
like
It's unstoppable. How does he? Why is he perfect? Kills babies. And it feels so true. God damn it! What is happening? Now, granted, this is not Ninja speaking, okay? But I'm still surprised that this podcast is so good. Just watch it, for Ninja's sake. And he's making a comeback from 15 to 34, meaning that I'll be able to ditch all those Hearthstone players that literally have no idea how to entertain people, and just dump Paul Joseph Watson in. Why not? Alright, I think I'm settled. I think, again, I'm not entertained by Hearthstone players as much as I thought I could be, because I watch Kriparian every single day. I mean, that's crazy, right? But everyone else is just failing to just capture that kind of level of format. So a lot of has been slain, and I think I'm gonna bring back Vsauce, especially after this weird thing. It's not real, it's edited, but I mean, Vsauce has a lot of meme catalog. He owns it now.
Are amazing.
Jeez.
Kids are amazing.
That is a really bad thing to say. Kids are not amazing. Oh my god, that made me laugh. Let's keep going. Let's see if Vsauce can actually score decent amount. Ninja just kind of broke 4, so he's not a fucking loser. But this is not a 4 game, okay? And I don't care. But let's see if I can find some good stuff on Vsauce still. I'm still positive I can do it. Yeah, this might be one of those episodes that kind of takes the cake as one of the best. Zif's mystery, because it's still a mystery, and I'm still very interested in solving it myself, unless it gets partially solved in the video. But it is covering a lot of things basically. I can't even like figure out right now what's up. But it's the 80-20 principle, where 80% is being controlled by 20%. Kind of. Well, he literally just solved his own mystery, right? It is an exponential problem. Now, not every word, because it applies to vocabulary, and every word frequency is measured, right? But there's something exponential. Just, that's it. That's all you need to know. That the mystery revolves about how come there's something exponential about words, of how frequently we use them. So yeah, this is why I'm so fascinated by this specifically. And he picks up a very good example. This example. If you just link paper clips together after picking up them from a pile and putting them back and do it over and over again, you get this because you pick up a chained paperclip chain more often, and now you have this distribution of popularity where 20% own all of this shit. 80%. Now, knowing this, it's a mystery of what actually this is, and it probably requires a completely separate video, which again is a Ninja School episode, and it's not going to be on this channel. So, what is my short-term solution to understand this? You can view this as a problem, potentially. So, it's a question of how do you solve this distribution, basically. How can this be problematic or non-problematic, and how do you adjust that? Like, this is very interesting. It's too deep for me to just try and solve it already. But, because things get popular, but it's also relevant here, but it feels unfair every single time. Every single time it feels unfair. It's crazy. It's literally why I'm angry about everything, the world, or people could be angry. It's like I'm staring at my most annoying enemy ever. The popularity. But most importantly, first thing that alters this equation is the aging process, and it is unstable as well. And language is unstable. There are things that are unstable here that will constantly change where we put this thing, even though it will happen constantly. And there are variables that should be shifted almost forcefully, right? Should be adjusted into the rightful places. So we also have to manage those all the time and almost make it like fluid and versatile, smart. Apply all these values to it as well. But one thing is very interesting. There's more you can learn from that. You can learn that these first three things that people pick up, and this is what the rest I pick up. This is the smart, this is the intellect, this is the feeling and reflex, right? This might be even faster than that. So I want to even, this is deep. This is, I'm telling you, this is fucking me in the ass right now. So yeah, it's technically the best Vsauce episode. Congratulations. You still just get 2 points though for that. Fuck you, Vsauce. This kind of cracked me open. Holy shit. And sometimes you can, in fact, find facts that will, well, generate interesting thoughts, to say the least. I'm not sure how valuable Vsauce actually is, because we kind of reached the peak moment of like 4 points. I'm gonna probably leave him here and move on to the next round. But here's the last fact of the video. Bats live for 30 years, are you kidding me? And mice live for how long
Raised
again?
under perfect conditions with veterinary medicine and safe lives, mice only live
2 and 3 years. And the difference is because of the predators. Think about a human life. If you can identify what the predators are in human life, you would understand why we don't live longer. But we can now understand that fear of predators might be a huge factor in here. And government is a predator, for sure. But I can't point out exactly. I mean, all these problems that I've listed out are predators, technically. So it's funny how high I put copyright in. And since we live in an age of 1433, copyright has always been the most, well, vicious thing ever in human existence. If you get copied and get outmatched, you have a right to die now, because you're old. It's kind of insane, actually. It's also insane how government created a new form of survival against copyright, or even pushed it to a new form, or actually a legal form. But even less obvious is that government as an establishment started creating establishments in general where old people just stay there. They have a job. They are not getting conquered anymore at all. The only thing that you can do is create something new, is copy. And old people are going to constantly create legal attacks against that as well. But in general, I have no doubt that it's the form of predators that really kills people in the first place. So, I mean, that's nice. So, who's at first place? Obviously Lindsay. Then you have Gabby Hanna. The girls, the ladies, they easily can rank up the points. Because they don't have to fucking try, they just have to look pretty, obviously. It's that fucking easy. And then Angry Joe after all of this stuff. My team barely gets 1.5 points, I believe. Scraping the bottom 4.5 with Notch, and nobody else gets the point. Oh wait, we get 0.5 points because Elon Musk is tied with Angry Joe. Okay, this episode is a little bit stretchy, right? But there's one more thought that this whole Predator thing makes me think about, because I talked about World War III as well. There has to be something like a reoccurring war of some kind, something that we constantly lose, and we know that the threat appears every single time. But right now, there's something different because the population exploded, so we cannot manufacture a war of killing people anymore. That's kind of weird, right? The moment something explodes, it's actually too big to fail. So talking about World War III is almost stupid at this point. There's always going to be someone that's going to prevent the war. There are enough people, and people are talking about enough topics and creating enough tension so war doesn't actually happen. Right? It's almost like we figure out eventually how to eliminate something simply by creating a too big to fail model. And that's probably the best way to block a surge of water attacking your boat, you just dump something on that hole, it might still not work. You know, it might not be a slap in the boat, and with flex tape, it might not work. You might still get some water in, and the problem will still remain. But by having this many people, we're solving the problem of war. You would think otherwise, but it's not the case. We're looking after each other, and most importantly, we have internet, we have social media. The only thing that I looked at is that this new technology has to be tested somehow, and new things can create new problems, technically, right? Or new intentions. So at any point, something can be looked or taken out from our awareness and become a greater issue and create a war. But it is quite a big question of like if World War III is even possible at all. I mean, I immediately looked at something different, which is women. Women might have now issues or power creep, seemingly, and they might attack in very disturbing ways, right? But now we have to understand what are predators, what are people die from, how can people be tortured, what is actually the essence of life that can be stolen. Like, all these things have to be figured out until I can actually say, oh, we're at war with something, right? Because you cannot just look at human life and be like, yeah. Because if you look at, human life, that if the human dies, it's like, yeah, that's the worst thing ever. It might not be the worst thing, because we have no idea what dying is in the first place. And I'm starting to understand that in this matrix of values, dying is probably like the easiest thing to morally suggest, because now someone has been eliminated and it's very hard to copy, and it's very hard to like pretend that he's alive or something. But then it also raises a lot of questions, because you can control only one life. You know, you only live once, you can control only one life. It's a huge form of ownership value. What does that mean, right? You dip yourself into this reality thinking that this is... But no. God damn it. You don't know where you came from. You don't know what the fuck this is. My suggestion, as I've said, that reality is actually where you cannot control anything for a purpose, just to learn. And dying is the most amazing thing ever. Because you come back to being God or higher power. You come back to control your own world or whatever you want. But right now, you can't. Simply because that's what this space is about. It's about not being able to control anything. And at the same time, there might be cracks in reality that stir things up, that create these weird interactions that I had. But we'll see. Well, regardless, here's some cool facts. And it's gonna get a lot worse as we go in this battle royale. I mean, it's probably gonna trigger me to think about some crazy shit, because I was thinking about suicide quite significantly, and that tied into the story of PewDiePie. PewDiePie was the pivot of the last, if you go 2 years back, right? The ending of 2 years, like, oh, PewDiePie is dead. I control YouTube, and I do. What is PewDiePie doing anyways, right? He's not controlling YouTube, and so there are narratives beyond your wildest dreams here. There are crazy fucking narratives. I don't want my forest to burn, because I know I release a lot of content, and my content is viciously wild, okay? It's like, welcome to the Disney World of YouTube. It's not edited, it's real. It's happening right now, except I do have to, finish at some point. So see you guys next episode, where we're gonna have, well, who knows what, but way stronger, because now we're reaching levels of 4.5. We reached level 4. Oh, it's actually 3, and then that was 2. So we're averaging at 4 now. And it takes 2 hours for a single person. It took me 12 days to make this video. Congratulations. Wow. I can't wait for the next one.